I used an air horn to wake up my roommate. So my roommate Kyle moved in back in September. Cool guy at first. Paid his half on time, kept his dishes clean. But then week 3 hit, and I realized this dude cannot wake up to save his life. I'm talking sleeping through 6 alarms, all set 5 minutes apart, all blaring different songs at max volume starting at 6 a.m. And guess whose bedroom shares a wall with his? Mine. I tried being nice about it. I knocked on his door, told him the alarms were keeping me up. He said sorry, he'd fix it. Nothing changed. I texted him about it. He left me on red. I brought it up while we were making dinner. He laughed and said he was a heavy sleeper. What could he do? What made it worse was this dude worked from home. His shift started at 9 a.m. He had zero reason to set alarms for 6. When I finally asked him why the alarm started so early, he said he liked giving himself time to wake up slowly, for 3 hours, while I had to be out the door by 7:15 for my actual job at the warehouse. This went on for 2 months. 2 months of me getting maybe 4 hours of sleep because I'd wake up at 6 to his alarms, then couldn't fall back asleep because every 5 minutes another one would go off. I started messing up at work. My supervisor asked if everything was okay at home. I was running on energy drinks and rage. I tried everything. I bought earplugs. Didn't work because the bass from his speakers went through the wall. I moved my mattress to the living room for a week. Kyle said it made the apartment look trashy and asked me to move it back. I asked if he could put his phone across the room so he'd have to get up to turn it off. He said that wouldn't work for him. Then December hit and I had enough. I went to the sporting goods store on my lunch break and bought the loudest air horn they had. The package said it was for marine safety and could be heard from a mile away. Perfect. I set my own alarm for 5:55 a.m. on a Saturday. Kyle always slept in on weekends. No alarms. Dead to the world until like noon. I got up, made myself coffee, and waited. At exactly 6 a.m., I walked into his room and let that air horn rip right next to his bed. The sound was unreal. Way louder than I expected. Kyle literally flew out of bed, got tangled in his sheets, and hit the floor hard. He was yelling something, but I couldn't hear him over the air horn because I gave it another 3-second blast for good measure. When I finally stopped, he was on the floor, sheets everywhere, looking at me like I'd lost my mind. He started screaming about what was wrong with me. Was I insane? He could have had a heart attack. I just stood there with the air horn and my coffee and said, "Thought you were a heavy sleeper. Guess you just needed the right alarm." He got up, face all red, and got in my face asking if this was about his alarms. I said, yeah, obviously. He said his alarms were normal. Everyone has alarms. I told him everyone doesn't have 6 alarms starting 3 hours before they need to be awake. He said I was being dramatic, so I hit the air horn again. Just a short one, maybe half a second. He jumped back and told me to stop. I said I'd stop when he stopped with the 6 a.m. concert every single day. He said he needed those alarms. I asked why. He didn't have an answer, just kept saying he needed them. I left his room, took my coffee back to bed, and slept amazing for the first time in months because Kyle had been shocked so awake he couldn't fall back asleep. I could hear him stomping around the apartment, slamming cabinets, muttering about calling the landlord. Monday morning came, 6 a.m. His first alarm went off. I grabbed the air horn from under my bed where I'd been keeping it and walked to his door. The second alarm went off. I opened his door. The third alarm started. I let the air horn rip. Kyle woke up screaming again, grabbed his phone, and turned off all the alarms. I went back to bed. Tuesday, same thing. First alarm, I got the air horn. This time I didn't even have to use it. I just stood in his doorway holding it, and he grabbed his phone and shut them all off immediately. Wednesday, no alarms. Thursday, no alarms. Friday, he tried to set one for 6 again. I was in his room with the air horn before it finished the first ring. He hasn't set an early alarm since.